Welcome to the Freedom Property Podcast, the modern real estate brand empowering excellence. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back, the Freedom Property Podcast show. Lukey Nell in the building.
I love that you've got your whole entry to a podcast. That's so good.
You got to, haven't you? You know, you got to have that.
Hit it with the Logan Paul. #1 podcast in the world. That's a fact. That's what he says every time. It's not true, but
I actually looked that up on that one. I was just like, maybe it is.
No,
they're pretty popular, aren't they?
No, yeah, but Joe Rogan's #1, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, we'll get there.
I think, what's his name?
Lex Friedman?
No, the Buddha guy. What's his name?
A Buddha guy?
The Buddha. Oh, my God.
That does podcasts.
Yeah. Good looking guy. He's a good looking cat.
He's a Buddhist.
Well, he worked as a monk for a while, didn't he?
You're talking about Aubrey Marcus.
No.
It'll
come to me. Yeah, let's get on with the podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
What's going on, bro?
Yeah,
it's good to have you on.
Yeah, finally. It's been a while.
Absolutely.
I thought you didn't want to do a podcast with me.
Oh, was that?
Because I feel like I'm last up.
No, bro, you've been requested. Everyone's like, when's Lukey coming on?
Yeah, no, I doubt that.
Yeah. No, you got a good story though. You got a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's rewind. Let's talk about you, I guess, and let's give a bit of context to the audience. So, you haven't been in real estate forever, have you?
No, I think October will be 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. So I'm 37 this year. So it's I started pretty.
You're
late.
the oldest in the office.
Yeah, that's it. I'm older than Josh. Yeah, man. Can you do that? You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, just.
Yeah. So in terms of my lifetime career and what I've done, yeah, real estate's a pretty short part of it.
Yeah, no, it's funny how where your life gets to, eh?
Yeah, if you asked me if I'd be sitting in the seat talking about real estate 6 years ago, there's no way I would have believed you. Although I wouldn't believe you about much of where my life is at right now if you told me 6 years ago.
Absolutely,
definitely not.
Yeah, it's you got a good life though. So yeah, you've done well.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's rewind. So, what did you do before real estate?
I was a chef.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And where did you do that?
So, how long is this podcast? Chefing is what I did. That's what I studied when I finished school.
Yeah.
My parents were pretty chilled and they believed in letting me really find my feet with life and not just having a plan as soon as I got out of school. A lot of people's parents are going straight to university, and I feel I don't know if that's the right decision for everyone.
Yeah.
I was
don't go to uni.
I don't want to be giving anyone any advice, but I suppose it depends on your personality. I was one of those kids who never really, I never really did well at school. I was one of those kids parents were always called in and he's got a lot of potential, but he's naughty and he never listens and he's cheeky. And so, I didn't do well in that schooling environment. And I think my parents probably knew that university would just be a waste of money for them. So they were like, oh, just do your thing, take some time. And I had 2 gap years, not many. Some people get 1 gap year. My parents at the end of gap year number 2, they were like, nah, you can't just be a waiter and go to nightclubs. You're gonna have to figure your life out. So my mom said, you like cooking, you like the kitchen, why don't you I love food. I still love food. You might not believe it looking at me, but I do. And she was like, why don't you go study to be a chef? My uncle was a chef. And I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds cool. I'd enjoy that. So I did. I went to chef school and for the first time in my life, excelled in a educational environment. I did really well. I was top of the class. And I was like, whoa, it's just because I'm enjoying it. That's why. And from that, that's it. That's what I did for 11 years.
Where did you do that? Where was it?
Well, my first job straight after college, I went over to England.
Yep.
So I worked in Reading, which is 40 minutes west of London on the train line.
Yeah.
So I worked out there in Reading for a year and a half, which was awesome. We worked in a restaurant that was on the Kennet River, which is it joins the Thames about 200 meters down from where I worked. And we lived on the barge out front. So the barge was this converted deck top where you patrons could come and eat on top.
Yeah.
And the staff all lived downstairs in these dingy little bedrooms. But it was an amazing experience.
That'd have been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first sort of experience traveling. So that was when I was 21. So got out there at a fairly young age and got to see a little bit of the world and went home after that. After a year and a half, 2 years, I did a little bit in Scotland as well. Went back home and I kind of I lost the passion a little bit. I got over chefing. And I think it's because being a junior chef in the kitchen, if you're not in the right kitchen, you're not really being, I don't know, it wasn't stimulating enough. It was there's the menu, cook that every day and that's it. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough that when I got back to South Africa, I kind of felt a bit lost again and went off and did I started a t-shirt company for a little while. that was fun. That was like kind of a hobby that gave me enough money to make a living. So that was cool. And then, after about 2 years back in South Africa, I missed cooking. And I was like, I need to do this again, but I need to do it somewhere that's a little bit more. I was watching a show, and it was about this chef who worked in the Natal Midlands. And she was this amazing chef named Jackie Cameron, like came out of chef school and she just was ranked consistently as one of the best restaurants in South Africa. And it was this hotel. And I was like, I've always been pretty proactive. I just was like, oh, I want a job there. So I emailed her. I was like, hey, I haven't chefed for 2 years, been doing this. I saw your show. Your restaurant looks awesome. Your food looks amazing.
You send in the modeling shot?
That's another career. She was a legend. She reached out to me. She said, look, I don't have any positions in my kitchen right now, but there's another restaurant down the road. I know they're looking for chefs. They've got an amazing head chef coming to join. I'll put you forward. So I went to an interview at that place and I got the job, and it was awesome. And that was the first time I worked under a chef. I was like second in charge, third in charge first, but it was changing menu consistently. It was using local produce. It was, all about doing a menu that was very specific to that environment. So it was a fine dining restaurant. So that kind of ignited my real passion for cooking, because I started learning to think creatively and outside the box. It wasn't just, this is how you cook something nicely. It's like, now I'll start putting some new stuff together.
You sound like a chef.
Yeah, so I'm discussing with such passion. I'm sitting here going, is Joshy just so bored right now with what I'm talking about? But the funny thing is the chef that I originally wanted to go work for, they tried to poach me later on now because I was doing really well at this other restaurant. So that's how I got back into chefing. I'll better condense the story. Anyway, from that restaurant, then I decided I wanted to go traveling. I thought my travels were done. I didn't think I'd ever leave South Africa again. And this is when I was like, I would have been 25, 26. I kind of thought that was it for me. And then heard about this, like working on super yachts. A lot of South Africans started going and working on super yachts. So ended up working as a chef on super yachts for about 5 or 6 years. And that's like really what catapulted me into where we are right now. But yeah, I mean, you can ask more questions about that, because obviously there's a long way to go from going to America and starting on super yachts.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an incredible life.
Meeting some very rich people, eh?
That's it. I mean,
super yachts.
I think, it kind of opened my eyes to what's possible out there. Like my idea of wealth in South Africa was changed dramatically working on those boats. Both yachts I worked on were for really cool, like down to earth billionaires from America.
Nice.
And just experiencing people who've got that kind of money, but just still how they were still humble and they still had time for everyone. Like seriously, working on those boats, like you're cooking for the crew every single day, and the guests are only on board a couple of weeks at a time, a few times a year. But they are paying so much money to own the super yacht. These things are worth like 60 mil, the ones that I worked on. And they say the running costs of those boats is about 10% a year. So these are people who've got $6 million a year just to pay their staff, pay the mooring fees, upkeep, fuel, that
living
kind of thing.
Living the life.
Yeah, so they got serious money. But getting to, communicate with them and talk to them, you kind of become like, like when your mum cooks you a nice meal, you kind of forget to say thank you sometimes. That's what it was like with the crew. Like you'd put your heart and soul into cooking, and like sometimes people would even forget to say thanks or like, wow, that was lovely. Where now I'm cooking for these billionaires and they'd call you out and stand up and like give you a round of applause and compliment. So that's it. I think that's a valuable lesson for everyone, really. Like,
absolutely.
Don't ever lose that. Don't ever lose that, no matter how wealthy or rich you become.
That's awesome.
So that was great. I got to travel the world working, and like it was an amazing experience being a chef on those boats. I got to see so much of the world. I'd never been to the States. I got to do that. I got to travel so much more of Europe than I got to do when I was working as a chef in England. Like just on this mobile multi-million-dollar home that we lived in, and you'd wake up every morning and be in a different place around the world. So
that gives you a lot of life experience as well, leading into a career like this.
Exactly. I think I got the opportunity to meet so many different people from so many different walks of life. And I think that does help me to relate to a lot of people, because I've gotten to just, I've been to India, I've been to Thailand, I've been to like places where the poverty is so intense. Like coming from South Africa, I saw worse poverty in other places than I've experienced in South Africa, but then I've also seen like the most affluent places in the world. I've lived in Monaco for 6 months on this boat. Like, I've seen some serious different lifestyles.
Absolutely. And then you were like, I'm getting into real estate, eh?
How
did that work out?
Right. So I was in a relationship while I was on these super yachts, pretty much the entire time. No, sorry. For the first boat I worked on, the person I went over to America with, that we ended up ending that relationship, and I kind of like, you have one of those moments in life, like I need a break. I need to go do something different. I need to clear my head. And I went and that's when I went traveling, just like traveling, not working. And I was like, I'm going to book myself a month in Thailand. I'd been there twice before. I loved it. The food's amazing. Like, again, traveling for food is one of my favorite things. And so I actually booked myself. It's called a stage. And as a chef, you can go and work for free in a kitchen, but just to get experience from like a really good chef. And I went and worked in the #1 Asian restaurant in the world just for a couple of days in Bangkok. And then my 1 month in Thailand turned into 6 months. I was like, I just kept extending my ticket. I was like, because I just wanted to do everything. I went and did like kung fu camps, and I went and lived in the mountains, and I went and met, like, just traveling alone, meeting new people, and like getting along with them so well, and just going on their journey with them. They're like, Luke, come with. We're going to go down to like just the most southern islands in Thailand, and then going from there into, I completely slipped my mind the name of the damn country, Kuala Lumpur, wherever that is, USKL, Langkawi, Malaysia. Yeah, went and spent a whole lot of time in Malaysia, and then from there met some people who go to the Philippines, and then going there and just kind of experiencing that carefree life. It was amazing. On this experience, got in touch with a girl that I'd known from my childhood, and that's Kate, who you know really well. Just got chatting with Kate on social media, like, because I guess she had a relationship that had ended, and they were going back to South Africa on their first trip back to South Africa in 18 years. So I hadn't seen Kate in 18 years. She was a child when she left. So was I. I was a little bit older than her, but I was dating her best friend's older sister, and she'd apparently had a crush on me in those days, which I didn't know. But anyway, we got talking, and we arranged that when she goes back to South Africa on her family holiday, I'd be at home as well. I'd be finished with my Asian experience, and the rest. That's how I ended up coming over to Australia. Was Kate and us ended up, we were gonna just meet up and kind of hang out. I was gonna take her past our old school and stuff, and then that turned into, okay, well, maybe we should spend more than just that time together. Maybe we should spend a day or two together. And then I was invited to go to the Kruger National Park with her family, and obviously just...
She locked you down, bro.
That's right. So I went, after that, like I had no plans. I knew I wanted, like, now I was a chef, I'd been on the super yachts. So I was like, well, that's fine. I'll find a job as a chef in Australia. I'll come over here. We'll see where this goes, see if it's real. And went for a couple of interviews in local places in Australia, and realized, like, didn't want to be in a normal kitchen anymore. After working the super yachts, you're so spoiled. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt in an air-conditioned galley with massive windows looking out onto like tropical islands. Like, you can't do that and then go back into your chef whites and boiling hot Brisbane summers. I couldn't see myself doing that. And plus the pay was really poor compared to super yachts, especially because you need that job to have your visa. So I think they take that. There's a lot of value in providing with a job that's going to allow you to get your visa. So they don't pay as well. So jumped back onto super yachts over here. I got to travel a bit of the Pacific as well. Kate and I would see each other monthly. She'd fly out to wherever I was, or I'd fly over to see her. Got pregnant with Leo, and that was obviously it. It's like, okay, now I've got to do something else. And I'd seen $1 Million Listing when I worked on the boats, like the original one. I was like, oh, real estate looks pretty cool. It looks pretty easy. I reckon I could. I reckon that looks. That's all you got to do is be nice and make so much money. But it's definitely not as easy as it looks on that show. So I came back and said to Kate, well, I want to be in real estate. And she had worked in real estate before. She had a couple of contacts. You were one of them. And you were the only one who wanted to give me a chance, really. So I'm super stoked that was the case.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that's the short story of how I ended up in real estate. Sorry.
I remember when we met you, because you came in and saw us and said, oh yeah, can I chat to you about real estate? And I was just like, oh, probably list my house with you right now, mate. Like
he says it to everyone.
Well, not everybody, but I knew you were going to be successful in real estate because it was just about a time thing. But the problem that we had with you is that you didn't know anybody. You didn't literally have any contacts. You didn't. Your family wasn't here. It's not as if you got all your school friends to reach out to. Yeah. Like you had to build a community and a pipeline for yourself from scratch.
Yeah, that's definitely. I guess that was the hardest thing for me, starting with. A lot of people, I guess, get listings from that network of people straight away. And so if you don't have the trust with strangers that you meet, like, well, say you go to a listing presentation for someone you've never spoken to before, but they're in Ormiston. Yeah. They've seen your sign forever. You can show them a whole lot of results and they can list with you just based on results. There doesn't have to be anything else. Whereas I didn't have results and I didn't have trust. I didn't have any relationships with people. So it was trying to build first the trust, and on the trust you get an opportunity to get a listing, and then when you start selling them, now you've got results as well, I guess.
Took a bit of time, eh?
First couple of years were rough.
I remember the first year was particularly rough, because it was it's brutal real estate. It's because when you're selling your biggest asset, like you want to go to that person that you've been speaking to for the last 5 years sometimes, and that person that you did have a relationship with or sold properties for you before. So it was 100%. Hard for you to break into that marketplace, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I was like, just hang in there because it's coming for you. I'm telling you, this is going to work. It took a while to get the wheel turning, but when you did, like now it's rolling. It's rolling nicely.
I still look at your business, and I mean, I think everyone's got a long way to go. No one's made it yet. Like, for me, I still feel that roller coaster mentality sometimes where it's like, well, feast or famine. Like, wow, I've got so many listings, I've got so many settlements coming up, and then there'll be a period where I'm like, whoa, I feel like it's real quiet right now. Like, I've got bills to pay, I got kids to feed, and so I still have that. And I'm looking, just keep trying to model your business, I guess, all the time, and get to the point where I'm not going to feel that way anymore, because it can be stressful. Like real estate's not just, honestly, looking at it from the outside, thinking chefing is one of the most like if you look at stats, chefing is one of the most stressful jobs you can have, but it's in the moment. It's like, you are going to be so stressed for 2 hours when your board fills up with all these orders and you've got to get these people their delicious, hot, tasty food. Otherwise, they're going to complain. There's so much stress there. But real estate's a different kind of stress. It's not like, in 2 hours' time, I can go and relax. It's like, So I'm not trying to put people off real estate. I'm doing the opposite of what this podcast is supposed to do. Real estate's awesome.
This is the real chat though. Like it is. There's a lot going on in real estate because you got a lot of people, you got a lot of bosses, haven't you?
100%. And I think, especially if you're a person like me, like I'm really empathetic, and so I battle to switch off. And if I've got sellers who I know are stressing, I'm stressing too.
Yeah, definitely.
And so for me, that's the hard part.
Absolutely.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, you just want to try and help everybody and please everybody and get things done for them, but sometimes it's out of your control. You cannot affect things to happen sometimes 100%. Because sometimes you're dealing with a
you can only do
market,
what you can do.
You know, absolutely. So, you try to not take on too much of that stress.
That's the challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you said you're a dad, so you're juggling real estate as a dad.
That's it. And I mean, I think that's one of the amazing parts of real estate is there is that flexibility. Like, you don't have, my job is I try to get to the office as early as possible. I'm sort of a 7:30 till 4:30 type of person because that suits my lifestyle with my kids. I get to go and spend the afternoon with the kids and get that quality time with them. And I love that about real estate. If Kate needs me and I don't have any appointments, it's like, well, I can drop everything. I can go and help out. So for me, it's all about that work-life balance. And I think, that's what it should be for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it changes your perspective when you have babies, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You move from a selfish to a selfless mentality. Like you're not important at all anymore. They're what's important, and that's what you're doing everything for.
Yeah, definitely.
You know that.
Yeah, like I saw this quote the other day. I loved it. It was, I can't exactly remember how it went, but it was something like, how insignificant we are, but how significant what we do can be, or something like that. Yeah, it's like like we're not that important. Like you and I, we're not that important, but we can affect people's lives massively.
That's so true.
Yeah. Like, and if we keep thinking of things like that, like it's like it doesn't matter about us, you know what I mean? But like, if we can help people, if we can be there for them, and these are the things that we need to just keep focusing on.
100%. Like it's so easy to change someone's life. Kate, who's my partner, like she's unreal at that kind of thing. She decided a couple of years ago, if I'm not going to be too shy to say nice things to people, she will just go up to strangers and say something nice to them. She sees someone like who looks sad, she'll go buy a bunch of flowers and give them to a random. She'll pay for someone's coffee, but she does that like all the time. Yeah. And man, like when you see people respond to that, like she has people crying once a week. She comes home, she's like, oh, this lady was crying today because I did this. I'm just like, you just don't think what a change you can make to someone's day. Yeah. It could even be their week. It could even be their month. It could be their life. Like you could turn something around by just doing something lovely for someone.
Absolutely.
And yes, she's a good person for me to learn off because I forget that sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are the challenges you're facing out there at the moment? Like in
real estate
life, what are you trying to overcome right now?
Well, I think there's just, the world's been in a strange place for a while, right? We have been in this, I think that a lot of people are experiencing this sort of free-floating anxiety, and I think there seems to always be something going on that enhances it.
Yeah.
It's like first it was COVID, now we've got to recover from COVID, and that means that the interest rates are up, and that means inflation is drastic, and there's this kind of feeling of lack for a lot of people that are out there, myself included. It's like, if people are not buying houses because they're scared, because they think the market's going to drop, well, then for me it's like, if they're scared of buying houses, that's going to be hard to sell houses, and am I still going to be able to generate income and provide for the family? And I think you've just got to forget about all that outside noise and stay in your lane and focus on what's important. Like, we've got the best system and the best tools here, I believe, to basically, if there's a result to be had, we're going to get it. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's overcoming that objection from people who are I guess worried about where this market's headed. But I think we're already, like you said it after this weekend, I feel like it's too unpredictable. People need to stop going, interest rates are rising, so the housing market's going to drop. Like, man, people thought it was going to drop in the beginning of COVID, and the opposite happened. And right now I'm seeing the market getting busier than it was the last few weeks. Like, I was nervous during those first and second interest rate rises because inquiry was really low, and I'm feeling like I don't know, something's changing because more inquiries coming in. There's more feed through open homes, and I reckon people are going, well, it's record low interest rates rising a little bit. It's not the end of the world. Like, if we're buying a home that we're going to live in for the next 5-10, makes no difference whatsoever.
There's always buyers. There's always buyers. People
Definitely
need places to live.
Yeah.
And when you live in a nice location like we do and sell in a nice location like this, people are always going to want to buy these
100%.
homes. For sure.
Especially
no matter
if you're thinking long term, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So focus on the work. So
100%.
Stop focusing on the results or the outcome or what you think you need or want to achieve. Just focus on, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to do a bit of exercise and I'm going to do my meditation and I'm going to read a little bit and, I'm going to be grateful, and that's, where we need to stay focused. I'm going to make the calls. I'm going to do the right things during the day and, stop focusing on that and just focus on what you need to do, eh?
Yeah, that word you said, grateful, I think that's one of the most important practices for any human being. Like, that's another thing. Kate is so good at being grateful, and she shows me, like, if you practice gratitude for stuff, more comes. Just gratitude for abundance, and just more good things will happen. And I think that's a practice anyone can bring into their life, no matter what you're doing and no matter what you're trying to fix. Just saying thank you for the things you do have. Yeah. To whatever, whether it's to a God you believe in, or the universe, or just thinking thank you.
When I was young, when I was 18, like for those 18 to 25 sort of years, I couldn't see anything but positivity in my life. I never had this ever feeling like there was something wrong ever. I was always just this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to achieve. This is so good. How much we're killing it. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Yeah. I would never, ever had any of that. Obviously, the older you get, you start to let a few of these things that have happened to you sort of seep into you a little bit, don't you? And you start to sort of change a little bit 100%. Your mentality about things, and you start to worry about things that you never would have worried about before.
Exactly. And it's such an unhealthy thing, worry.
Absolutely. Yeah, so staying focused, Just staying
100%.
Staying focused on, the things that, are going to be positive for you.
Yeah, try not to think about the negative stuff. That's it. Focus on positivity. And like you were saying, if you can have those practices every morning where you wake up and the first thing's not work, or you need to give yourself a breather, give yourself a space where you can just say thank you and ask for what you want.
Yeah.
What are the outcomes you want to achieve from your day, and have that quality time with your kids. And there's a lot of stuff we got to think about in life besides work. Otherwise, if you can't do that other stuff well, you're not going to do well in your job either. You'll burn out.
Especially in this job, you have to be present with your clients. If you're thinking about all this stuff and all these things happening, and you're like, oh my God, and you're not there with your potential seller, and you're trying to list their property, good luck.
Yeah,
you're not going to get it.
It's going to feel like you don't care because you're just not there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nice, mate. So, in terms of real estate, let's get back to real estate for a little bit, just to provide our audience with a bit of value here. So, hopefully you get a little bit from this.
Luke's rambling on about chef.
Well, we're talking about the spirituality side of this stuff. This is important as well. But what's been some standout moments for you in real estate? Has there been anything that's humbled you in real estate recently, or?
Humbled me. That's a good question. Well, I think I'm humbled all the time. I think humbled. Like, man, sometimes when I go and see the life that some people live, and how grateful I like just walking in and going like, wow, I need to count my blessings every day, because like look at what I've got, look at what we've achieved, look at where my family is lucky enough to be, and like look at how these people, you know, they've just got a completely different life to us. And just for my kids, I'm like, oh, man, yeah, I guess just I don't know, it's hard to put into words, but just sometimes walking to houses or meeting people like tenants and stuff like that, and you just got to just think how lucky we are to have been given the opportunities we've been given, to just be in a position that we are.
Absolutely.
Like, that's super humbling.
Yeah, it's definitely, as I said before, like when you have your babies, you know, like I've got little River now, and like it makes you appreciate things so much more.
Yeah.
Like even just like doing a show like this, like to even think that people might actually tune in and watch this and listen to this. Like I feel like this is really humbling for me right now, you know, because I'm like, people really like give a what we think, you know what I mean? Like, do they really care? You know, like we're just being ourselves here, and if people like want to hang out with us, then that would be awesome, you know, but we're going to do this anyway. Yeah. You know?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, Higgsy, you know, probably one of my best friends in Australia, I met through you, who's one of your best friends. And we've been talking about doing a podcast for ages. So it's good to just get on here and kind of practice essentially.
Absolutely.
I think it's amazing how much value you can get from just strangers talking about their point of view on stuff together. Like I don't hardly ever listen to music anymore in the car. I'm always listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
And it can just be two random people talking about their perspective on life. And you're like, wow, I didn't think about that before. Like, you know, you can get value from it.
Absolutely. So, just, feeling like you relate to people as well. Hey, feel like, you know, there's other people with the same point of view as me. It's nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the struggles and the good stuff too.
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to realize who are struggling that they're not alone. Like there's, definitely everyone has stuff. Everyone.
Absolutely. That's ego the other way, isn't it? You know, like it's like if you think your problems are bigger than everybody else, that's your ego too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not ego just in the other way where you think you're the best, you know, like if you think you're the worst too, then that's your ego as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, trying to just
both ways.
Remember that there's other people out there that can help you, isn't there?
Exactly.
Voicing your opinion.
100%. 100%.
Where do you see yourself, bro? Like you're obviously doing really well right now, and you're becoming one of the best real estate agents in the Redlands. Like, give this a few more years, and more people are going to get to know you. They're going to meet you. They're going to understand what you're about, and obviously, you're fine tuning your skills right now, and you will become one of the best. Like, it's going to happen. I've called it early on. So, you know, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to achieve? Is that what you want?
Like, it's like hearing you say that. I've always been a person like it's hard for me to really believe that what you're saying. Like I'm like, yeah, you're just saying that because you know you want to boost my ego. But yeah, if I could become one of the best in the Redlands, that would be absolutely incredible. I'd love that accolade. But my goals, honestly, my goals is just to do better every year. Yeah, that's for me. I'm not like, I want to be $1 million agent. And I know that's might not be the right way around because I'm also very aware of putting stuff out there. If you want to achieve something, like be very specific in your goals. But for me, it's be a good dad and partner, do better every year at everything, at real estate, at being a dad and partner, learn more all the time, be more patient, be more present, be less stressed, and help more people. And just do better every year. That's my goal.
Yeah, nice.
Do better every year.
Nice. Yeah, I've always wanted to do better. Like that's
and
always,
you always, since I've started real estate, I mean, I've watched you do that, and you like haven't just done a little bit better. You've like doubled it and doubled it and doubled it. Like it's just been so compounding for you.
Yeah, like
it's insane to watch. It's hard for me to think that when I started, you were pretty much where I am now. You know, that's wild to me to think that I could potentially be where you are now in 4 more years. Like
it's doable, bro.
Unfathomable almost.
Someone's going to do it. Yeah. Someone around here is going to do it. Yeah. Someone out here is going to take it. May as well be you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, I've like over the years, I've always like wanted to do so much better. Like that, I'm like everything that I do, I'm obsessed with it. Like I'm like, I want to train hard. I want to run hard. I want to walk more. I want to meditate more. I want to read more. I'm like, I get like so obsessed with like trying to win everything. Like, but like sometimes a little bit too much. You know. Yeah. And I think having like River in my life now, like it makes me like accept where I'm at a lot more.
Yeah.
And take a little bit less pressure off myself as well. So like for me, like I want that as well, but I also don't care as much about it anymore.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you got kids, like there's nothing that's more important. You don't ever get that time back. And I think that's so important to remember. Everything else you can do again. You can't do that again. Like, even if you let your career go, you could start again in 5 years and, you'd be able to do it again.
Definitely.
But though your 5 years, your kid growing to that age, you're never getting that back. Ever.
Absolutely.
Man, I watched this thing that Jordan Peterson said the other day. It's like, you only have your kids for 4 years or 5 years. After that, they're not little kids anymore. If you miss that,
Oh, absolutely.
Like I don't ever want to look back with regrets and go, I wish I'd spent more time. I wish I'd.
But again, with you, like, it's not necessarily like where your business is at right now. It's not about you needing to do more work to get more, results.
Yeah, I don't have to spend more time away from
what you need to do is you need to invest in people to help you get to the next level.
Yeah.
So you need to do more marketing, get more people in to help you, and that's how you get to the next level.
Which, I finally have listened to you, and I finally employed someone this year. I mean, you have been telling me that for 2 years or 3 years now. Obviously got Carl, who you've already interviewed, and he's an absolute legend. And I couldn't be more grateful that he's part of the team right now.
Yeah. He's going to be so good.
Yeah.
He's going to be a top agent. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a bit of time. But
he's like a mini Josh.
Oh, he's going to be good. Yeah. We know he's got big things ahead of him.
Well, that's it. I mean, starting at his age and starting in a team like we've got here, he's just going to be so set up. I think if I started real estate when I was 18, I mean, geez. If you just focus hard, you could, you just have the best life. You could semi-retire by the time you're like 40.
Oh,
you know
seriously.
what I mean? Make smart investments, do the right thing with your money. Don't get carried away with it. A lot of young real estate agents, I don't think, and it's understandable. I mean, if I was a real estate agent back then, I'd probably also make a lot of bad decisions. But just like, if you can just have a bit of maturity and invest smartly and do the right thing with your money, you can set yourself up for such a good life coming into this industry.
But that's what we're going to do for these young people around us. We're not going to let it get to their head. We're going to pull them back into place and humble them 100%. As well, because you need those people around you. Like I had Randall and my old man there, and because I was very close to being one of those types of people that Seriously. Could, let it get to your head a little bit. But because you've got those good people around you, and that's what we are for
mentors,
these, for these younger lads that are in this office right now, because we've been there, we know what's about to happen. So
definitely,
you start selling a few houses, you think you're a blooming movie star, don't you? You're not. You just sell houses. Chill out.
Seriously, yeah. You sell houses, honestly.
Seriously. But
wake up, celebrity agents. Seriously,
this has been a good podcast, though. Yeah, it's been a good podcast, mate. I appreciate you coming in. It's probably been one of our longest podcasts, to be honest.
What?
So, yeah, absolutely.
How long are we going for?
I reckon that's a good halfer.
Oh, gee, I thought we were like a quarter way through. I thought you started to ask me a whole lot of questions.
Well, we can ask you a few more.
You don't have to. People aren't going to listen.
Well,
that's okay.
Just for the audience, though. Like
anyone who's listening after half an hour.
Yeah. Why are you at Freedom?
No one else wanted me.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's quite amazing how, like, even in my third year of real estate, I'd say that's when I started getting calls. Like, other people wanted to interview or kind of poach, I guess. People wanted, like, hey, come work for us. I guess I've just never had any issues at Freedom, and it is so good here. I can't imagine being tempted by any other companies. Like, I don't know, but besides what a good wicket we're on, besides like how good the commission splits are, apparently, according to all the other places. Like, I've never worked anywhere else, so I don't know any different, but I do know I see a lot of agents bouncing around, and I see a lot of agents leaving other companies and coming to us. And I know how good our culture is. I know how cool it is to walk into the office and trust 20 other agents who you work with, like to have your back. And I've heard in other offices you like got to burn the stuff like shred all the stuff that
run
you give
to
on
the printer.
Yeah, like this is stuff I hear about other offices, and it just blows my mind because I've never experienced that here. And I think that's amazing that we're all friends. We all have each other's back. We're such a good team, even though we are all our own businesses. We don't have to hide our listing opportunities from other people because you're scared they're going to come and poach a potential client. Like, I can't imagine living that way. Like, it's nice to come to the office every day and you're not dreading going to the office. It's like, I'll get to go hang out with my friends.
Absolutely. That's awesome, bro. No, we appreciate you coming on. It's been legendary. Thank you.
Glad to be here.
A good podcast. I really like that one. So, mate, you're an absolute weapon. You're going to do some seriously good things for real estate for the next few years in life. And we appreciate having you around, mate.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
See ya.